In this video, you're going to learn 2 really fast ways to get rid of spit bubbles in your flute. What are spit bubbles? You know, when you're playing along, there's heaps of condensation on the inside of your flute from playing a lot, and it starts blocking off one of the keys and the note doesn't turn out right. Well, anyway, I'm going to show you 2 really fast ways to fix that. Hang around at the end of the video because there is a free flute course, that's a tongue twister, a free flute course on tone, improving your tone, that you can do. So I'll tell you at the end. As a woodwind player, welcome to the world of spit bubbles. It's when you go to play a C sharp, say, and there's a nice little seal of condensation around here that makes your flute think that your C sharp key is closed and it comes out as a C. Terrible when this happens in a concert and you have no control over it. The worst spot that I can imagine right now it happening is at the start of Prélude de l'après-midi d'un faune, Afternoon of a Faun. How was that for good French? Starts on a C sharp, exposed. You really do not want that C sharp turning into a C. So there are 2 ways of fixing this. And there is a major rule to remember. This is something to pass on to your students. It's a rule that will stop your flute being destroyed. Here are the keys that are the most affected and why. I've figured out why. It's the G sharp key that gets like dribble coming out of it and sealing the hole, and the D sharp. And it's because those keys are on the underside of the flute, the side to the underside. And the dribble runs down, no, the condensation runs down on the inside of your flute. The other keys that get affected a lot, C sharp, like I said, the 2 chill keys, and you probably guessed the reason why. It's because they're tiny. Right, here's how to fix them. If you've ever sat next to an oboe player in an orchestra, you will see them playing away and they'll do this. Even in the middle of the concert. I think it's funny. And it works. If you get a spit bubble, the quickest fix is to do that. And the audience will just look at you strangely, but honestly, I think most of what musicians do on stage, they probably find a little bit strange anyway. So this will just, add to the list. So don't be afraid, just blow it out. Gets rid of it very fast. And the second way, which is very useful for students, because this way it's not really for performing in a hardcore, important concert. It's more if you're practicing and you have this annoying spit bubble form. You need cigarette paper. This is Tally-Ho, which I have since learnt when I was doing another video. Oh my gosh, it's actually made in Belgium. I was going to say that it is Australia's finest cigarette paper. I just learned that bats always turn left when exiting a cave. Check that out. Can't believe anyone still smokes, seriously. But luckily they do, because it means that flute players like us can have access to this paper. I get it at a tobacconist. Not sure if that's an English European term for a little shop that sells all sorts of weird stuff. The only thing I ever buy is cigarette paper. But you can no doubt find it somewhere. People smoke everywhere. Never, ever put the Tally-Ho into the flute like this. Push down on the key and then drag it out with force. Always, when you have a problem little spitty, dribbly key, put the paper in, push down on the key, move it around a few times like this. The paper will get soaked with moisture. Just move it around. Always have the key up. This is what you need to tell students before you pull the paper out. If you have the key down, and it's so tempting for students to do this, I remember doing it as a small student, going, it's so much more effective if I drag the paper out. If your student drags the cigarette paper out while the key's closed, they will rip the fibers underneath these yellow pads, in the yellow pads. They will rip the fibers and shred the pad, and your flute will go kaput and need servicing. Hopefully that should be enough deterrent for them. Oh, by the way, did you know that spit bubbles happen on your flute more when it is cold weather? So I'm Jane, I'm a flute player, which you probably guessed. I created the Flute Teacher School, that's my business, because I love showing flute players and teachers that little tiny thing that makes a huge difference to their playing. I call them quick fixes, but they're real fixes, real technique fixes. If you want to do the same thing to your tone or to your students' tone, go and do the free course that I've made called How to Quickly Improve Your Tone on the Flute. I would love to see you in that course. In the meantime, have a great day.